all recorded, Leo. So I'll throw this in the I'll throw this on the landing page afterwards too, because a bunch of people were asking for it. We started here about 2 minutes there. I just fired the campaign that I was supposed to fire as a reminder. Well, welcome. Really excited to chat with everyone a little bit today about automation. And speaking of automation not working, we had that happen. So if you are watching the replay, I want to say thank you, because I know a bunch of people asked for the replay, but realized that the 15-minute reminder and the hour reminder did not go out. So if you're catching the replay afterwards, I want to say thank you for watching the replay. But I'm really excited about today and to chat about automation with Leo. Leo is one of those clients that we've been working with over the last little while, that when I originally saw Leo's tech stack around automation, I was like, oh my goodness, this guy knows what's up. And then we dug deeper and I figured out an IT background, which made a whole lot of sense around why all these automations were set up that essentially would allow him to leverage more time freedom in his business. And Leo, I'm super excited for you to share today with everyone that's watching the replay, everyone that hops on today, specifically around what to expect around automation, around what we can do in order to leverage our time more. So without further ado, I want to hand it over to you to really chat with us a little bit about automation today.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. I really appreciate being here and your team working to kind of get this out there so that we can help more agents, with their business as we are getting, into more and more techs all over the place with what everybody is doing out there. And I'm gonna flip my into my presentation mode here real quick, and then we can, walk through some of the stuff for you guys. There we go. And so as you guys know, our series of talks here consists of 3 parts, and the main series is called the Lead Generation Secrets for the Modern Day Real Estate Agent. And I say modern day because I will tell you a little backstory on this, and you guys will understand. But before we get started, for all those of you that are on, if you were here with us last time, as you know, there's really only 3 simple rules that we have here during our short time together, is that just really have fun with it, because automation can be not fun if you are just coming in with the wrong attitude about how things can work. And really, it's here to make work in your favor. And so I also want you to ask questions if you are newer. If you are newer to automation, this is perfect for you, because I really want to get you guys down in the roots so that you guys can really bring together some automation at the end of this presentation. And then lastly, we really just only ask one thing. And that one thing is that we're going to just run a really short survey, only to probably take you about 30 seconds, so that we can find out what we were able to deliver for you, what you find helpful, and how we can do better next time. So those are just the 3 simple rules for us to get started. And so first of all, if you are your first time here or you're watching this on the replay, this is just a little bit about me. I am a luxury market realtor here in Orange County, California. I've actually worked for 3 different tech startups in my life, and of course, prior to being a realtor. And the last one that I worked for, the last startup that I worked for, was I was the director of IT, overseeing all operations, all equipment, all support, all infrastructure, and all that kind of stuff. So operation is super, super important in our business. And then I had built a side business at e-commerce while I was at that job. And we can talk about that another time. But also, I am a 2nd generation realtor, which means I was able to see how my mom was a realtor for the last 35 years of building her business and how I can do better. And then lastly, I live the perfect California lifestyle, and Cody can attest to this now that he's been here for a little bit, and knows that what that means. But that really means having, best of everything, the best of weather, the best of people, and being able to do business around all the people that are high level, very intelligent business owners, as well as being able to play as hard as you possibly can. So that's a little bit about me. If you don't have any context with me, some of you out there might already know who I am. And so that would be just a refresh for you. So let's talk about this. This is our series called Secrets of the Successful Modern Day Real Estate Agent. And the reason I say modern day is because my mom was actually not necessarily a modern day real estate agent, because she did everything by paper. She did everything manually. And she actually in over her 35-year career had never even had an assistant or a transaction coordinator. And so I saw over the years how hard she worked. And when I entered the industry, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to just only leverage my efforts, but leverage the efforts of technology and also other people. And so we did on May 12th, we did the part 1, which was the lead generation blueprint. And if you were there with us, you know that we had just walk you through how we generate leads, what kind of leads we're looking for, how we organize the leads, and then what kind of people we are looking for to actually spend the most of our time converting those leads. And today we're talking about the 3 automation superpowers. So that's part 2 of our series. And on July 6th, we are going to do one called How to Win Offers with Ease. And we're going to go into a lot of the psychologies of offers and negotiations at that time. But today our focus is the 3 automation superpowers. So let's get started. So here's the goal here of today is we are going to get into generating leads, nurturing them, and how to take more appointments using these automations, because these are the 3 core automations that I believe every real estate agent needs right now in order to be able to do their business effectively and without burning themselves out. So that's our goal for today. And so the goal is going to give us results on allowing you to scale tasks and save time. So if you guys can look at the picture on the left, and that may look familiar to you, and if not, it is the assembly line of the Ford manufacturing plant back in the early 20th century. And you can see that there's a specific process. And what Henry Ford was able to do was that he was able to perfect the assembly line process and made cars cheaper because of his process and became one of the richest men in the world. Okay, and then on the upper right is our modern day factory. This is a picture of the Tesla factory building cars. And Elon Musk has made it an automated process of building cars with robots and all the automation possible to be able to scale his business. And at this time, each one of the Tesla factories are slated to make $500,000 cars a year. And they are building numerous factories around the world to be able to build at least 500,000 cars a year. So can you imagine that? Can you imagine like building $500,000 cars a year? That means it's nearly 2 cars per day. Okay, so of course, Elon Musk works really hard, but that doesn't mean that he has to build all the cars himself, because he might not even be able to build one in a year by himself. So that's our task here. That's going to allow you to really scale and save time and really bring in a lot of business for your real estate business. So that is what we are going to do. But here are the problems we have right now in real estate. The problem number one is that we can generate leads, we can do Facebook ads, we can do Google ads, we can do TikTok, we have all these available to us right now that was not possible before. So we're able to generate, a lot of leads very quickly. But the problem is there's not enough time to be able to touch them all and be able to work on the conversions of them. So that's the biggest problem that we have. And if you were here in our last webinar, we talked all about generating the leads, and that allows you to be able to scale your lead generation process. But that doesn't mean you can actually be able to nurture them and work on them if you're just by yourself, just like the picture we have here with Tesla. You couldn't do all that stuff by yourself. I think I see like 6 robots to 1 car. So that's number one. That's the problem number one. Problem number two is that it's very difficult. It's very time consuming to be able to get prospect info. You think about traditionally, we had to either call or text a prospect and ask them what they're looking for. Now, if they came in just on an ad, that means we have no context with them. They saw a picture, they thought it was cool. You don't know if they're thinking about buying the next 3 years. You don't know if they're thinking about buying tomorrow. So we need more information about what they're looking for. Is it just a 3-bedroom that they're looking for, or a 2 to 4 bedroom is totally fine? How much financing do they have? Or are they paying cash? We have a series of these questions that we always have to go through during the process. So we're going to work on actually how to automate this process so that you get all the prospect info. And then number 3, coordinating is, sorry, but a complete waste of time is what I've found out. You see, when I entered the business, I was spending so much time trying to coordinate the buy showings for one. Okay, and think about the process of trying to get a showing, especially a private appointment to be able to show homes. I'd have to find out what my availability time is to be able to show the home. I have to find out when the actual buyer client is available to show the home. And then I have to find out what the seller's agent and the sellers themselves, if they're occupying the home, when they're available. And then we have to coordinate all that stuff and, on top of everything else with lock boxes and all that stuff. So it really eat up all of your time just to trying to get one set of showing going. So this is one that we're going to tackle as well, is coordinating how we do that effectively and in a way that's more automated so that you can have more time just showing up and showing the homes. Okay, so those are the 3 problems that we're going to tackle today. But I want to kind of round out these 3 problems. Is that if you do not automate these 3 issues that we just talked about, you will never ever have time in your business. Think about that. If you don't automate, you will never have time, which was the case with my mom during her 35-year career in the real estate business, because we would literally have times when we were sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner. She would have one of 3 phones on her wrist. And at any given time, one of those phones would ring. She would pick it up and she would have to get up, take the call, and then say, hey, I'm sorry, I have to go. I don't want that to ever happen to any of you guys. And so I want to show you guys how we automate so that you can have time. But if you do not, I guarantee you, you will never have enough time in your business. So that is my my mission for you on automation. So let's get into it here. Zapier. I hope a lot of people out there right now already know what Zapier is. And if you don't know, this is why I wanted to show you this slide, because it completely demonstrates what Zapier does. Okay, and I'm gonna show you what some examples that you can do with Zapier. And if you imagine in the old days, applications didn't talk to each other. They couldn't exchange data, and there was no way for them to be able to interact with each other on their own. And so what you had to do is you had to go into your Facebook, you can do your posts, you can do your messages, then you have to go log into your MailChimp to do your email blast and do your go through all of that stuff, and then separately to go into your Instagram, and separately to go into your Gmail, and then separately you go into your CRM, and on and on and on you go. And as those things build, more tools come online, you have to touch all of those in a single day. And so what Zapier does is that it interconnects all of these applications to be able to talk to each other, and then you tell the application what you want it to do. So I'll give you some examples. All right, so let's say you generated some leads via Facebook, okay? And I'm gonna do a little drawing here. And so the leads come in. We need a way to organize the leads coming in. So what do? We ask Zapier to do the work of pulling all the data and then be able to push it to our CRM. And then from our CRM, we can tell Zapier like, okay, now that our CRM is loaded with leads, we want to be able to notify us. Okay, so that's one simple example of a task that Zapier could do for you. Okay, so that you don't have to actually manually pull the leads from Facebook and put it into a CRM. All right. Secondarily is that let's say you have a website on WordPress. Okay, and somebody had to fill out the form, or maybe they inquired on a specific property. Maybe you have IDX on the site. Okay, you can tell Zapier like, hey, when somebody fills out a form, can you please take that information? You can say please, and you can be nice to Zapier, and they'll do it for you. And you can push that info to CRM, and at the same time, again, you want to be notified via email. Now, Zapier can do more than that. It can take all that information. It can put it into a spreadsheet if you want. It can also text message you if you wanted to do that. So it's an interconnectivity that can happen throughout all of this stuff. So, some people have, one of these automations that you could do, because you think about this, is that we always have to post in multiple social media, like LinkedIn, like Instagram that's on the image here. There's actually a way that Zapier can take a blog post that you put up in your website right here, okay, and then be able to actually take that data and be able to post it to your Instagram, or be able to post it to your Instagram, your LinkedIn. So you see, you can come up with a million different ways for all of these applications to work together, so that you don't have to manually be moving stuff back and forth, copying and pasting all that stuff. Okay, so that's just a little explanation of how Zapier works. And I'm going to actually be showing you a screen of what a couple of my Zapier automations are doing. And then you can get a much better idea if you've never worked into it before. My goal for you is that Zapier is you can sign up for Zapier for free. There's some limited automation you can do, but it's something to get you started. I would really recommend that you do that. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you how our automation flow goes, and you'll really be able to get a good idea what we are going to be able to do here, especially around Zapier and all the applications associated with it. Okay, so Let me change my color here. All right, so number one here is who. Who do we want? Who do we want to organize? And these are going to be your prospects. These can be your sphere of influence. This could be, could be your referral leads. Okay, so we want to answer the question of who, which is more on the lead generation side. And when those people are identified, we want to be able to move them to the CRM. Okay, I happen to use Follow Up Boss, but you can literally use any CRM you wanted to use. Zapier supports, I think the last count was like 7,000 applications, something like that. So, so really any CRM that you might pick that's pretty decent are going to be able to support Zapier. So I wouldn't worry about that. But that's number one, is being able to take those prospects and be able to zap, if you will, into our CRM. Okay, so that's our number one is part of the workflow. And number two is the what. And by the way, those of you watching here, I'm going to be giving the complete slides to Cody so that he can actually give it to you. All you have to do is request it, and he'll get these slides to you so that you guys can use it as a reference. So the what is, how do we get the data, the contacts from the CRM and finding out what these prospects want? Do they want a 3-bedroom? Do they want a 4-bedroom? Do they want, a swimming pool? So the way that we do that is we do it by a form. We will create a form. When the prospects fill out the form, we'll have all of these information about what they're looking for. This could be in what city. Okay, and from there, we'll have all that information filled out, because you think about what a regular real estate prospect and a possible client could be. We need to know who they are. We need to know what they want. Okay, and the next thing we need to know is when do they want it? When are we going to show the home? When are we going to have that consultation? Okay, this is where we take them to the next step, where we can automate. Oops, sorry there. We can automate the calendar to be able to take the load of that work, so we can find out when they want to see the home, when do they want to buy the home, and be able to coordinate the appointments, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, and lastly, this is the best part. This is the part where we convert them. They are in escrow, and we get paid when we close that escrow. Okay, so that's the flow. These are the three areas. Number one here. Number two, we're going to work on how the forms work. And number three, how do we automate appointments? So that's our 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so these are actually your 3 superpowers. Number one is, how do we get the prospects organized and zapped to a CRM, and how do we automate the process of communicating with them? Number two, find out what they are looking for in a form and be able to automate that and put that information into the CRM as well. And number three, how do we automate the appointment process? And then number four, be able to take that appointment and convert them into a client. Okay, so that's our flow. But at the end of the day, when we can do all of those things, it's going to allow you to be able to focus and service on your clients. You're not worried about scheduling. You're not worried about what it is that they need. You can shortcut those processes, and then that way you can better convert. because when we try to keep all that stuff in our brain, it just doesn't work. So my goal here is to make sure that you can automate these processes and get you to be able to service your client at the highest level possible. So this is the part where I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to start demoing for you the 1, 2, 3 superpowers that we have and how I've got them set up. And that way you can get an idea what that looks like and what the flow looks like, and maybe be able to duplicate it for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right. Hope you guys can all see that. Let me adjust the size here. So this is Zapier. And right here, I've got two automations that's showing. And I'm going to show you the first one. And this one here is basically a Facebook lead being pushed into Follow Up Boss, my CRM. And that way, all the leads that come in will come in through there without me having to do anything. And if you've never seen kind of the workflow here of Zapier, this is what it looks like. And I'll actually quickly walk this through with you, and so you can get an understanding of the logic. At the end of the day, we have only a couple of things. You have a trigger. What's going to trigger an automation? And what do you want to do when that trigger is fired? Okay, and so here, obviously, a new lead's coming in into Facebook. And of course, under new leads, you can choose different events. But in our case, we're going to have a new lead. And then you're going to assign an account for your Facebook to log into. And then here's our trigger. As soon as a new lead comes in through my business page, under this form name, I want you to fire this automation. Okay. And so that's the trigger. And here's the action. Once that automation is triggered via a new lead coming in, these are the things that happen. When a new lead comes in, we want it to log into Follow Boss, and we want it to either create and update a contact. And again, we're going to choose the login account for my Follow Boss. And then here's where the magic happens. Here's where you get to tell Zapier what you want it to do when it goes into our CRM Follow Boss. We want the name, first name, we want the last name, we want their email, we want their email address, we want their phone number, and we want to label our contact with this source. And we want to show what stage in the CRM they are in. And in this case, it's going to be a lead. It could be, a stage would be active client, new pipeline. It could be today's, it could be a hot prospect. In this case, this is a new lead. So we want to label it stage lead. And then we can put in any tags that you want. In my case, we're just putting tags for location. There's, of course, other information that you can put in, and we're going to go ahead and put in an area of interest that their interest for this particular automation is Santa Monica. And that's it. So that's our flow, is being able to generate these leads off of Facebook and be able to put that information exactly how we want it into Follow Up Boss. So that's a little bit of how Zapier works. And so if you guys have never seen something like that, it's actually very straightforward. I just went through it with you in about 2 minutes. And so once you've done that a few times, you can actually create a lot of automations. You can see some of these automation I've previously created for different lead sources, for different actions. Actually had it different ads coming into one automation, and it would actually parse the different ads to be able to go to different places. And so this is also a form that's coming in where it's generating a Google Sheet from it. So you got all kinds of stuff here that could possibly work. I used to do a lot of cold calling. So we had Mojo Dialer. If you guys are familiar with that out there, actually was pushing a lot of data to Mojo Dialer so that I can dial from there. So that just give you some examples.
Can you chat really quickly about the birthday card? Because I think that's something that people are probably doing manually that we know could be automated, or direct mail. Like there's so many different automations. I guess can you talk to us a little bit about the birthday reminder that you have set up?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had it there because I was going to share it with you guys as a bonus, but Cody had pointed out for us, and I'm sure some of you guys might have caught it.
We caught it.
So let me just take a few minutes to talk to you about birthday cards. So we came up with this automation for birthday cards when we realized there's some repeatable tasks we're doing every year. And especially for the people that have been in real estate for some time, they have past clients, current clients, where they know what their birthday is. Sometimes it comes up while they're working with them. And so they wanted to be able to send birthday cards to them and be able to do that effectively and be able to actually do that every year without you even have to think about it. So we created this, this automation called birthday cards. And what it does is that it will go into my CRM. In this case, it would be Active Campaign. And in Active Campaign, there is a field for the date of their birthday. And so when that happens, it will trigger this automation. When it's triggered, it will talk to an app called Handwritten, which is a card sending service that goes out. And so you guys can create a free account, and you really only get charged for the cards that you send. So here it's logging into my Handwritten account. It will put these names that you designate, which would be the client's names and their address. All of these fields would be in your CRM. And then based on all of these fields that pulls out of the CRM, it will use this information and actually create a script, a scripted text into the cards, and it will write it out. And this specify exactly what kind of card we're sending, because you can choose different kinds of cards you're sending. And then it will automatically go out on that day, on their birthday. As long as they have a birthday field filled out with the date, this will go out every single year on that date. And you can actually do it, set it up so that it sends out, say, a few days before while it's being delivered. So that's a little bit ninja as far as card sending is concerned. But you can imagine, you can do this for birthday cards, you can do this for Christmas cards, you can do this for any kind of events, anniversaries. You can send out these cards automatically for people. And all that you really need once it's set up is you need a date that you want it sent out. So good catch there, Cody. All right, so let's go on to the next. I wanted to show you guys this is my history from January 1st to June 1st. So about 5 months worth. This is how many Zap automations that have been run, and this is how many tasks it actually performed in that period. So I want you to see the power of this, because if it wasn't for Zapier, you would have to spend time doing the 26 automated tasks yourself, as opposed to what Zapier does for you. So I just really want you guys to see the amount of work that Zapier is doing for me, and that you guys maybe could start replicating it and be able to do more automations for yourself. All right, so that's the Zapier function there. So that really takes care of what we talked about earlier with the who component. Our number one component is the leads being automatically pushed to your CRM so that you can work with it from there. The next part is, so you can see all of these leads have come in from that specific ad and that specific Zapier automation that I showed you, and you can see it just did exactly what I told it to do. Here's the source information that I put in. Here's all the names, phone numbers, and the stage that they're in. And for my CRM and follow-up boss, it also tells me what pages that they had looked at. And interestingly here, out of all of these leads, we actually converted one, and I want to show you what that looks like. So this person here came in on an ad. Oops, I think it's the next one. Here it is. So when this person came in, you can see right here, came from Zapier. The system automatically sent them this email. Hey, thank you for your interest. Click here to see the information. And then a day later, we send them another email to say, hey, if you're interested in a home, click on this and tell us what you're looking for. So as soon as they click this page shows up. Hey, would you please describe what you're looking for? And once they fill this out, we'll have all this information for this particular contact. You can see we're doing name, email address, how many bedrooms you're looking for, what price range are you looking, what areas are you searching in, and what's your preference in move-in date. So really the pertinent information about what, how much, when, what area, and how much would you like to receive listings for, and then give us your phone number so that we can be able to contact you when a hot property comes up. So you can see we're moving into the second automation superpower that I spoke to you about, which is the power of this form. Okay, so we've just now connected our number one superpower, which is automating how the leads come in to our CRM and being able to nurture them from there, and then getting into the second superpower, which is the power of forms. Now that they're here, they're going to fill this out, and then right away you'll have all their contact information and you'll have what it is that they're looking for. So you see, she continues to get emails. She got a notice that, hey, we launched our listing video. So she got a video here in this email. And then she also got an email about the open houses coming. So she got all of this stuff, and we actually converted her. She wasn't interested in that particular house, but she became a client when we did some listings for her, actually 3 different listings just through this one contact. You can see we've been scheduling appointments here, and I'll show you, how that works next with our third automation superpower, which is being able to automate your calendar and your appointment setting. Okay, so that's number 2. Here's one of our example forms about what you can also do is when you have referral partners, you have clients, you have past clients, but you want to know about what they're interested in order for you to send them gifts throughout the year, and especially birthday cards. You can see right here, one of the forms is a birthday. So if they put this in, it will automatically go into their CRM. Once in their CRM, when that birthday comes up, the system will automatically send them a birthday card. So this is where we capture their birthday without even having to pick up the phone, send them a text, or ask them directly. So all of this stuff happens when we get to send these forms out and be able to capture any additional information. You can see sometimes down here, if you are one of those people like me, you love referrals from your past clients, you want to be able to gift them. You want to be able to send them a gift certificate to their favorite restaurant, or if they have a sports team, maybe you want to get them tickets to a game. If they have hobbies they like, and you can get them some kind of gifts. So all of this information is going to be very valuable for you to be able to send that gift to them without you having to do a lot of extra work to try to figure this out. And you can see all is done here being under one form. Okay, so that's our number 2 superpower, which is the power of forms. And so number 3, last but not least, is calendar. As I mentioned before, if you guys know about the pain of calendars, the pain of creating appointments, especially for buyer's agents who are out trying to coordinate showings, you got 3 or 4 parties that you're trying to coordinate a specific time to be able to show that home. This is how we're able to do all of that stuff, where we can remind them. We can have it on our calendar so that we know when that's going to be and remind ourselves so that we don't miss our appointments. And thirdly, allows us to be able to follow up after the appointment and thank them for showing up. I don't know about you, but before I had set up the system, I had to do all the follow-ups manually, and a lot of times people would not show up for one reason or another. Maybe I forgot a reminder, maybe I forgot a follow-up, and it just wasn't as tight. But with this, you could actually do them all. So the one I want to show you here, this is Calendly. And in case you don't know what Calendly is basically a calendar scheduling system. And if you're familiar with seeing calendars, I'll show you a little bit what it looks like. I'm sure this all looks familiar to you guys to be able to see the calendar, the name, how long it's going to be, and here are the available times. When you click into them, you can see the available times to be able to schedule things. So this could be scheduled either by your client, or this could be scheduled by your team members, or this could be scheduled by you, so that all the notices and all the follow-ups go out. And so right here, I want to show you once an event is being generated and you have it scheduled, these are the things that happens. You get email reminders. And these email reminders go out 24 hours before the actual appointment, and also another reminder 1 hour before. And it also sends out 3 days before. So you have 3 days, 1 day before, and 1 hour before. So that's plenty of reminders to make sure that people don't miss their appointment, because a lot of times people are busy and they just need to be reminded. So this has worked very well for me. If you're going to go ahead and set up a calendar, I would do exactly the same 3 days before so that they can get it on their calendar if they're available to do that, 24 hours before so they can plan for the next day, which is what normally people do. And then 1 hour before, just in case that they need to remind themselves that, hey, maybe there's a drive time involved, and get themselves to the appointment on time. So that's the most important part about the calendar, is just being able to do that ahead of time, being able to remind them ahead of time. And the last thing I want to show you here with the calendar is the email follow-up, because once you've met with them and the appointment is done, you want to be able to thank them and say, hey, it was really nice to meet you today at such and such time and date. Please feel to reply to this email with any additional questions. I'd love to follow up with you. And you can also reach me on a phone call so that they can have your phone number here as well, readily available. And this is done 75 minutes after the appointment. So that means about what is that, hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so you see all of these things are automated for you. And in order to schedule a showing, it can be done by your buyer's agent. It can be done by your admin. Once the system is set up, all you really have to do is hand this over to your team members and they can get that set up for you. Then you just focus on getting to the appointment, doing your best job with your clients, and then go make some more sales. So that's what I have for you. That's the third superpower on the automation that I wanted to share with you. So let's get back to my slide here. And again, this is part of the 3-part series that we have, The Secrets of Successful Modern Day Real Estate Agent. Is if there's anything that Cody want to add based on those three pieces that we just went over. If that was helpful to you guys, I'd love to hear it from you, either through the survey or let Cody know if you have contacts with Cody. But those are the main superpower that I wanted to share with you. I hope that between understanding the back end philosophical thought mindset behind it, and then being able to see a walkthrough of the flow of how those 3 things come together, and they actually integrate very, very well. You have your number 1 with lead generation, with the leads going into your CRM being automatically organized for you. And then number 2, to be able to send out emails automatically, to be able to ask them for some additional information so that you can serve them without having to try to reach them manually. And then 3rd, once that you know what they want, how they want it, then it's time to schedule when we can do a consultation, do an appointment, show them homes, and all that stuff really carries you to the last part where you'd be able to meet them and convert them into clients and be able to send offers, open escrows and close escrows and make your money. So that is really the 4 parts of the automation that ties everything together. So that is what we got here. And any input that comes to mind? I know Cody's online here with me. So your thoughts about what we showed so far?
Yeah, I think that one of the most powerful things I learned early on in my business was, it was actually from Brendan Burchard. It was at a conference. He said, the reason why so many entrepreneurs, and I think that this really applies to real estate agents, the reason that so many real estate agents struggle to scale their business or struggle to work on needle moving activities is they don't automate enough, they don't delegate enough, and they don't remove enough non-needle moving activities in their business. And I guarantee you, if you do an audit of the 30 things that you do on a weekly basis, and you begin to ask yourself, can I automate this? If you just ask yourself that simple question, the answer is probably yes. The answer is you might need a tech stack or a software stack, but there are things that prior to actually, getting involved with Zapier and understanding different automations, I was doing things that was, taking up, 15, 30, 45 minutes a day that can essentially be automated. It's something that it's a powerful breakthrough that you can have in your business when you realize that you don't have to do everything manually. And I just want to say thank you more than anything for taking the time today to kind of chat about the theory, but even the practicality behind how simple it can be with the platform as connecting one thing to another. And the encouragement I would give to anyone, any agent, because we just brought in we have a couple media buyers. We just brought in an in-house automation specialist internally to essentially work with them. And I asked them this question. I said to them, and this is a question that if you're interviewing an automation specialist, because you're at a point where you're like, hey, I need to hire for this, the best question you can ask them is, what is the one thing that you automated recently in a business that drove the most amount of bottom line profit? And for us, we hired the guy immediately because he told us, and I'm like, that's going to save us 45 minutes per account setup. So the encouragement I would give you is ask yourself, what can I automate? What am I doing currently that I'm doing manually that I could automate? And you'll free up so much more of your time on a daily basis. So I just want to say thank you, because I was really always intrigued with your business, especially when we started working together, around how far ahead you were from using Zapier and really automating the back ends of your business to create more time freedom. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that with everyone on the live and everyone that's listening back to the replay. We just really do appreciate you. And I'm excited for the next session that we're going to do here at the end of the month around winning offers with ease.
Yeah, I mean, if you can take anything away from this, those of you watching and listening here, is that, I shared the calendar lastly because that was the last piece after bringing people in. But I'll say that's probably the most important. Think about what you have to do as a real estate agent. Okay, so you have to get a hold of your buyer clients, find out what they're looking for. But then when it's time to schedule a showing, you have to find out which homes do they want to show. And you don't always get to pick all the homes. They have to pick it. You have to coordinate that. Okay, so let's say you're at the beginning of the day, you get up in the morning and you contact them and say, hey, what are the homes you want to see? And let's say they give you guys agree on the 5 homes that you want to see. Then you have to take that and you have to call each of every single one of those 5 homes agents, or text or email to try to get a hold of them and say, hey, when can I see this home? 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 And then from there, you have to make sure you fit all of them in, because you're not going to go see one home, come back in 2 hours, go see another home. That's a waste of your client's time. They're relying on you to be able to see all 5 homes in the hour-and-a-half period that you're together, driving from one home, look at it, 15 minutes, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. So now you have to do all of that stuff up front, identify the homes. Now you have to contact all of the sellers, agents, and you have to coordinate all of that time. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, I'm not going to drive from the first home to the second home all the way across town and then come back to the fifth home. So you have to go look at Google Maps and find out exactly what spots you need to go and how your showing flow is going to be. And then you go and you schedule it and you put it on the calendar, and then you have to manually remind your clients, like, okay, we're going to meet here, XYZ, da 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 da. Okay. And then after that, you have to go out, get dressed, get in your car, show the homes. Okay. Hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that, you're going to come back and say, hey, which one did you like? How did you like this one? What did you remember? This and that and the other. So that entire process, it's just way too much for one person. So when we can get the automation going where you can shortcut that, set up your Calendly and be able to put that itinerary right into Calendly, so that the clients will never have to ask you, oh, where are we meeting again? Or which one are we seeing first and which one are we seeing last? All that stuff will be in the description. You have your whole itinerary there. They don't need to ask you a single question. They get reminded, just like I showed you, 3 times, 3 days before, a day before, an hour before. And then when you're done, you just thank them and say, hey, thank you for showing up. I'm going to be contacting you. Any questions about the homes we saw, you just let me know. Like, that shortcutted a lot of that work that you would have to do manually. So we're constantly trying to do that, to bring that process to in a way that's smooth and covers everything that the clients would ever need, but also not burn ourselves out and trying to do everything and anything. And so that's why this calendar automation is so important. I don't know how we could do without it anymore. So I really want to just make sure we share that. And so the only other thing here, Cody, is I wanted to so we just did the part 2, the 3 automation superpowers. I want to remind everybody to come and join us for the last part, which is a super exciting part, because that's where our work really shines. A lot of stuff in the back end is not super glamorous. The automations aren't super glamorous. They just kind of do the work in the back end. Nobody really see, that, but the clients can tell, like, oh, well, you really did a lot, and that, but you don't want to, tell them, like, hey, automations did it all. So the last part here is on July 6th. We're going to be showing how to win offers with ease, which means there's a lot of psychology behind how we build rapport with not only our clients, but with also the sellers and the sellers' clients, to be sellers agents, to be able to have an effective offer acceptance process. So that's July 6th. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you for being here, and your whole team has been super awesome since the day I started working with you guys. And I couldn't thank you guys enough about all the stuff you guys do. And I'm just wanting to share with all of your audience and clients about what they can do to help their businesses as best as I can, as you guys have helped me so much.
Appreciate you, Leo. Appreciate you taking the time today to share with us. And hope everyone that listens back to the replay, everyone here today gets a ton of value. And we will see y'all soon. Thanks, Leo. We'll see you soon.